not a game, it's a rich thing.
Happy Wednesday, y'all, and welcome to episode 4 of BCA's Lunchtime Listening Sessions, Black Lives Matter. I am Lindsay Allen Cox, the Director of Theater Arts here at BCA and curator of BCA's #HellaBlack mixtape. Similar to #HellaBlack, the Lunchtime Listening Series was born out of the desire to truly amplify the voices of Black and Brown artists living and working in Boston. To that end, and thanks to the generous donation of BCA supporters, we bring you 7 weeks of performances by some of Boston's dopest musicians and spoken word poets. For this week's episode, I'd love to introduce you to Amanda Shea. Amanda Shea is a multidisciplinary artist residing in Boston. She has performed spoken word poetry at numerous venues throughout Boston, including the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, the Museum of Fine Arts, and the Institution of Contemporary Arts. She has served as the official host for the 2018 and 2019 Boston Art and Music Soul Festival and the Arts Equity Summit. She has been featured on podcasts and television broadcasts such as ItsLitBoston, Boston Come Through, and Fahrenheit TV. She served as radio host on Live Free or Die Radio. She performed at UMASS Boston with the Poets Theatre and independently with Phillis Wheatley Day. She performed at the Alvin Ailey Theatre with the beheard.world with original pieces on racism and identity. Shea appeared in the cast of the Poets Theatre's 7th revival of Boston Abolitionists, a program developed in partnership with the Boston Athenaeum. Shea returned to the Boston Athenaeum as a curator for a performance titled Other Voices in the Room, which speaks to identity politics and cultural appropriation. It is my pleasure on this wonderful Wednesday to welcome to the stage Amanda Shea.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Amanda Shea. I first want to say thank you so much to Lindsay and the entire team at the BCA for having me here for lunchtime sessions. I'm honored to be here. There's been so many dope performers that have already done lunchtime sessions and so many others who will be doing it as well. So I'm blessed to be here with y'all. Are y'all ready? I know it's kind of weird because we're in this virtual world, but I'm gonna need all y'all at home to give me all of your energy because yeah, it's gonna be a pretty deep set. As y'all know, I'm a spoken word artist, also a full-time educator, full-time spoken word artist. And I'm just excited to be here and share some of the pieces that I've been creating in quarantine. As everybody knows, COVID-19 hit a lot of people in a lot of different ways. For me, it allowed me to kind of dig deeper into myself and just kind of get through some of the trauma that I've been through as a child. And yeah, I got a couple of new pieces, hence why I got this little music stand here, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna be reading today. And also, I'm just a huge advocate on artists who have really raw new material that have not had the chance to memorize it. With COVID-19, my brain has been everywhere, so memorization has been a little bit more difficult for me than what it usually is. Therefore, I just want to encourage all of y'all, if you have pieces, anything new that you need to get out, I don't care if you got to write it on your hand, I don't care if you got to write it on a piece of paper, have notes on your phone, whatever it is, get your art out. Just because you're a featured performer does not mean you need to memorize your pieces. So I'm a huge advocate with that. Create your art, get it out in any ways that you can. So with that being said, I'm super excited to be here because I feel like this is my opportunity to kind of give y'all a little like backstory into my pieces. Normally when I perform, I'm just like bam, 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 bam. I'm just shooting them all out at y'all. But Today I get a chance to tell you a little bit about where they came from, where my mindset was at. As most of you know, I write a lot about generational trauma. I write a lot about social justice issues, especially racism, and I talk a lot about identity. So today you will hear a lot about my journey, my story, my identity, but also I hope that it resonates with you. You understand that you're not alone. And even the most secure of people, when you see them out in the street, can have the most deepest insecurities you would never know. So with that being said, I'm gonna start with my first piece, which is typically known as my signature piece. It's called Origin. I wrote this piece 3 years ago to get ready to go on tour with beheard.world. Shout out to them. Just the involvement for me as an artist, being with them, has been tremendously huge, and like also just a blessing. So I'm forever grateful for beheard.world. They allowed me to basically be free in my poetry, but also it was the first time that I ever had to do prompt poetry. So with that being said, we're gonna go into Origin. I'll never forget the day I asked my mother, why wasn't I born white? The look on her face as if I slapped her with the years of oppression she's faced, she replied, Amanda, never say that again. My father, a strong, black, proud man, goes to the store. He came back with a kit to help me assimilate. As he sits me on the chair, he pulled out a jar of white cream. This was the beginning. As he applied the smelly chemical to my hair, I was reminded of all the white girls in class asking me why my hair wasn't straight like theirs. Why is my hair so curly? As I slicked back my hair only to display my waves similar to my ancestors' journey, I was embarrassed, yet this cream would allow my hair to be straight, the ability to blend in. One of only 3 black kids in my entire elementary school, being called names like porch monkey and nigger, growing up in Cape Cod, the arm on a map of a country that never embraced me in a hug. I didn't belong. Going to my grandmother's house at age 11 in South Carolina didn't help. I learned of the bigotry within my own family tree. No black blood allowed on these leaves. Portuguese bloodline was not supposed to be mixed with anything. It was to remain pure. My genes were contaminated with black blood, so I'll never fit. Portuguese heritage was never to be taught to me. No culture, no family ties, no musical roots. Why does my family reject me? But my grandmama called me her brown sugar baby, obsessed with my skin tone. She embraced me because she broke the lineage chain when she made my mother with that black man. My grandmother died before I ever got to ask her why she decided to make my life harder. I'm now in a household full of all white faces and I'm displaced. My school is predominantly black, dismissed by my own people due to my white proper voice. How do you sound white? How do you sound black? Color has no sound. If it did, what would that even sound like? Yellowbone is now my new nickname, along with Oreo and Mulatto. I'm now not black enough. My hair is too straight. No coils for my fingers to wrap around. Why do they discriminate against me? Haven't we, black people, faced enough? I'm tired of disparities. Light skin versus dark skin, field versus house. But they want me to be pro-black though. According to them, I'm whitewashed. Colors should only be separated in washing machines. When will this cycle end? I just want to be accepted from both races. I am enslaved in my own skin. They tell me to go back home. But my body is my home. Why would I ever want to leave. Escapism isn't a choice for this vessel. I, Amanda, Shea, just want to belong. Thank y'all. So that was origin. I'm gonna clap and snap for myself because like I need that like energy. I just need that energy. Y'all with me? Cool. I'm more than welcome to having people comment, people post. So get in that chat. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know if it resonates with you. If you're also multi-ethnic, what that feels for you. I'm all for the feedback. Even if you ain't messing with it, it's cool too. Like, let me know. I'm cool. I'm open. So that was origin. As y'all have just heard, I am Portuguese. My mom is from Açores, Portugal. And I'm also African American on my father's side. So having to try to blend in and being raised on the Cape and then going to South Carolina and then being raised primarily up north for most of my life has just been a struggle because I never felt like I was accepted in either group. So it really took a toll on like how I viewed myself, how I viewed what beauty was like, especially when we've been force-fed these European ideologies of what pretty is, right? So because of COVID, and it has made us basically stop everything we're doing and really just have time to ourselves, I realized that when we're on Zoom or we're on live or we're even on FaceTime, like, yo, you're always in the camera or like always on the mirror and it's a reflection. So one night I was talking to Free, shout out Free, gang. And we were on FaceTime and I was like, yo, I'm just like admiring my face. And I was realizing that I had so many insecurities about my face, about the unevenness of it, the blemishes of it, my teeth. I actually have a poem that we'll get into later on that's called Teeth that talk about that. But right now I'm gonna share FaceTime. I just did a video project with Jay Hunt, so I'm super excited for it to come out. And it's starring Sublime Love. Y'all, if y'all been watching Lunchtime series, y'all would have saw Miss Sublime Love already performing. Incredible poet, so I was honored to be able to work with both of them on this project for this poem. First visual that I've ever really created surrounding a poem outside of origin, so I'm really excited. So with that being said, here's FaceTime. On FaceTime, it's scary here, reflection. I avoid the mirror at every glance, my peripheral. Now face to face, cell phones force me to look. Now understanding why I hide from myself. I hate my face. Pretty, ugly. I can be both, depending upon the beholder or what pair of lens they're accustomed to. You see, their eyes see privilege of being pretty. Ugly on the inside, undeserving, beating my face doesn't change my perspective. Makeup, sensitive skin, I break out instantly. A reminder that no matter how pretty the mask, ugliness comes out in the light, the bright lights, flashing lights. I'm forced to look back at these memories of my true self. Ugly, pretty body. I crawl in my skin at night, scratch so hard my pigmentation changes color. Reminds me of eyeshadow or highlighter. Doesn't blend well with the shame of hating my face. So that's FaceTime. As I told y'all, like, quarantine has allowed me to really like dig deep into the trauma and dig deep into my own insecurities. It's been a journey, but I feel very blessed to still be able to be here, to be able to do the work and be able to dig in deep, because without quarantine, we just keep going and going and going. And it stopped us not only to dig deep within ourselves, but to also pay attention to the society and what's going on around us. And as we keep seeing these Black bodies being murdered right in front of us and everything that's coinciding on FaceTime and Zoom chats, and it's just a lot. Sometimes we really need to just shut ourselves down and be able to go inward. So this next poem is called Teeth. It came out, It's funny how my writing process is. Like, most people ask me, like, what do? Do you sit down? Are you quiet? Sometimes I don't have like a strategy. There's times that I sit down and write and it's for a purpose, and other times it's very sporadic. And this poem, Teeth, came from me at a interview with LFOD, shout out them, and ItsLitBoston. They were interviewing LFOD for that episode, and I was looking at pictures. And shout out BAMS Fest. I love Cat Morris, and BAMS Fest is just an amazing, amazing festival. And in 2018, I was the host for BAMS Fest, and I was looking at pictures, and I remember Cat Morris saying, "Smile." And I took the pictures, and I was looking at them, and I was like, damn, I hate my teeth. I really hate the way that I smile. And just realizing that it's an insecurity. I was in a car accident 5 years ago, and it was really, really bad. The woman almost basically T-boned me. My car spun around. I got hit with the airbag. I was completely knocked unconscious. And I remember when I was coming to, I remember all the people that were gathering around, and I could hear the sirens coming in the background. But the first thing I did was look in the rearview mirror, and I like grazed my tongue over my teeth, and I tasted blood, and immediately I realized that I was missing teeth. And I was so devastated about my teeth being missing than I was to be grateful to be alive. So between being in that car accident and having that insecurity, because I'm still working on my mouth, dental is expensive, but also looking at pictures and being afraid of like what I look like when I smile, teeth just came out. Figuratively, no pun intended. So this piece is called Teeth. My smile is something I tend to hide it from the world. I love to laugh, but laughing forces its way into one. So I cover it. Cover it like the wounds I wish I had the courage to dress. Genetics, my mom says. Her side of the family weren't lucky enough to have good teeth. Maybe that was just in our DNA, to not be lucky. Imperfect. Imperfect like the imperfect teeth we use to tell ourselves false truths to help us grin behind clenched teeth of our family's realities. Restorative justice is impossible when the ones to address are deceased. I never liked flossing. Going too deep that you bleed white and bright red always make me nervous. It hits nerves that penetrate but not deep enough to get to my roots. I hate exposing my teeth. My front two are crooked. They remind me of my biological father rotting in jail like the back tooth in my mouth. Removed it because of the decay. Pulling it out caused so much pain. The gaping hole now matches my great-grandfather's gap smile. Wonder if he felt like having a space there didn't make him feel whole. Brace yourself to feel whole. Society tells you to smile. That's usually what first impressions are based on. I typically don't care about first impressions. I understand they can be filled with overcompensation. Society approaches popping artificial flavor gum instead of showing all gums. I never liked fake anything, so I remain impartial. Worried more about my unaligned teeth and not my spirit. So I'm left currently trying to build bridges filled with my own harsh truths to transport my family's indentured legacy so I could fully smile and actually mean that shit. That's Teeth. Woo! So, how y'all feeling? How y'all living? Y'all good? Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Word. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm digging deep and like just talking about the insecurities, and I never thought I would, because I was like, I can't go up on stage and have these poems and talk about how I'm not loving myself, not taking care of myself, need dental care, all these things, right? But I think in a society where we're preaching self-love, it's really important for us to understand that sometimes we don't always love ourselves, and we're trying to find ways of loving ourselves. And sometimes that means we have to dig out the old to get to the new. So with that being said, I have another piece called Body. I used to be a gymnast. Most people don't know that, but I was a gymnast from the age of 8 years old to about 12. I loved gymnastics. I really thought I was going to be like the next Dominique Dawes. Yes, I'm showing my age. I love Simone Biles and stuff, but that's like this generation. Dominique Dawes was my generation. So I just looked up to her so much, and things didn't work out. My parents didn't always support my endeavors. Hence is why I think in my adulthood, I'm so supportive of the community around me and artists in particularly, because I understand that when you have support from just one person, it can make a difference. You'd be surprised how much confidence you have to tell your truths and share your story. Body came out, I wrote it in literally 20 minutes. I wrote it after I received some really devastating news that I have 2 discs that are dislodged in my neck right now currently. They're damaging my spine so much that my spine is actually bruised. And not only that, but it doesn't allow for certain nerves to be able to travel down where they need to travel down. So my right arm has been going numb for the last 4 months. I'm super scared of surgery. I literally got the news right after I turned 36. I'm an Aquarius, gang, gang. So my birthday was on February 6th, and I got the news on February 11th, 5 days after my birthday. And I just cried because it made me think about how flexible I used to be and how I just feel very trapped, like within my own body, dealing with this pain every day. So this is called Body. I used to love my body. Flexible like the air of my sign, lightweight, I could hold myself up, back bends, front flips, my inner animal soared, until I lost an ovary. Felt like I was no longer woman, mother. She birthed my sister at 35. My sis said no more. Before then, surgical tongs. Wish it were only a cavity to fill. This hurts. Losing a piece of myself, trying to find the peace in it. Thought it was over. Now my neck, carried weight of men, wedlock almost broke me. My vertebrae is no longer straight, like my gender, non-binary. Contortionists don't conform. I was a gymnast. Flew over obstacles, balanced light beams. My disc skipped somewhere. Nerves pinched. Blood clots form pretty little circles. The ring around my finger reminds me it burns. When I lift my hands to the sky, the right goes numb, down to my pointed finger. Childhood, I sucked my thumb. Instinct knew I'd missed the feeling. Surgery again. Every time there's a risk. Every time there's a risk. Tired of looking down tunnels. I can't scream. My voice is an echo. Etched in my mind. Used to hate the sound. Now I grasp it. Capture every inflection. Lungs collapse. At the image of me yelling, I'm voiceless. It invades my power, silences my journey. I'm mad. I'm hurt. I'm pissed. Why is it so dark? I loathe the light. It teases me, tells me to look within myself while doctors are taking away body parts, examining the damaged goods, discarded. Always a spectacle. I need a miracle, God's plan. This body feels unfinished. How can I, as a Black woman, how can I, as a Black queer woman, feel whole? That's Body. Thank y'all. Woo! Yeah, so I haven't told this to anybody publicly, but when the surgery came up and they were like, yeah, so we're just gonna come in and we're just gonna take out some, your little 2 dislodged discs, and we're gonna replace them with some plastic and some bone marrow, and it's gonna come either from your hip or come from someone who's passed on. And I was just like, what the hell? I have been through, not only do I have 2 children, so I've had C-sections before, but I've also had ovarian cancer, lost an ovary, went through a car accident, lost teeth. I was just like, how much more do I need to lose on this body? So for everybody out there who's going through something that has to do with your body and you feel like you're constantly getting body parts taken away, you're not alone. And I apologize for all of the pain and all of the despair that you go through, because I also understand that the health industry is not always the kindest, is not always the most sensitive, and it's really, really a lot. It's very stressful. So I just wanted to say that to all of y'all who are out there. Sideburns is next. Can y'all just like at home for me, just touch your sideburns? Like just feel on your sideburns. Some of us have them. Some of us bleach them. It's cool, right? Like mine are pretty long. Sideburns are cool. I also like rub my arms a lot because my arms be like super hairy all the time. I used to have like this thing when I was a kid, I would shave my arms. You'll see why. So this is called sideburns. It was more like just thinking back about my culture and thinking about like hair and how it just defines people so much. And I was thinking about bleaching my sideburns, but I was like, do I really want to do all that? So this I wrote during quarantine about sideburns. So I hope y'all like it. I laugh because like sideburns is just is a weird title for a poem, but we gonna rock with it. So here's sideburns. Hair is so goddamn important. Wish sideburns were important. They literally do nothing but sit there, serving nothing but its existence. Dark hairs making a trail alongside my earlobe. What's its purpose? I wish I could ask Ashanti. Being teased for having sideburns feels like a slap to the face. We all have them. So what? Mine are dark, long, thick. My grandmother's are thick. Were thick. Wish I got to ask her how she felt about hers, or about her hairy arms, or hairy neck. I wonder if she grabbed her throat to silence herself from speaking out, or was it to cover them? Our culture is known for our hair. Portuguese, Iberian, Southern Ethiopian. Funny how the hair on your head allows you the courtesy of speaking loud in a room. Depending on how relaxed or laid it is, had being visibly hairy equate to royalty, we'd be rich, spoiled even. The soil in our acres of land would have gold in it. Every speck for every insult. Every comment of, you should have shaved it, wax it, hide yourself. You're too loud in here with all that hair. Go sit down somewhere with your hairy sideburns and arms. Go shave it like you do those armpits. Get in there, cut off every piece of hair off your body except your crown. Conform to fit in. I wish I could ask my grandmother how she coped. That's sideburns, y'all. I remember I performed that for the first time and people burst out laughing because I said Ashanti. Like, no shade to Ashanti, but we all remember, if you know, you know, especially if you grew up in that era, that Ashanti was constantly teased for her sideburns. And I was just like, I don't even see the big deal. Like, what is the problem? But I resonated with it because I too was teased for my sideburns, teased for my hairy arms and my back. I remember when my brother was born, my mom was like, he's so hairy, like a little monkey. And coming from someone who's Portuguese and Black, but very white presenting, it never sat right with me. And that's my own mom. So I wanted to talk about just how important hair is and how people judge people on how they wear their hair, and it's just ridiculous. Like, we should really start embracing each other for our differences, and instead of looking at them as like, you stay over there. We're all human beings, period, first and foremost. So where am I gonna go next? Relationships, maybe? So most people know that I have two beautiful teenage kids, Eric and Jaden, 16 and 12. I love them to death. And I was married, and the marriage was an interesting journey, to say the least. We went through a lot of problems, and it was a really tumultuous time in our lives. And even though I'm still legally married, I always proclaim that I'm divorced, because that's where I'm at in my spirit, even though legally that's not where I'm at. And I got into an argument with my ex-husband, and he said some like really, really terrible things. And at that moment, I'm trying to learn, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. So I swallowed everything that I really wanted to say, but I wrote it in a poem, because that's what poets do. So this is called Entangled. This will actually be a second video that I shot with Jay Hunt, who's absolutely incredible. Honored at the fact that not only did he have the opportunity, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful, both of them, FaceTime and Entangled, are beautiful videos, so I'm super proud of them. This one I actually star in, which was a little difficult for me, but I wanted to bring it to life in a different way. Most people have seen me perform this on stage. Normally what I do is I try to bring in props and things like that to kind of build more of like a presentation, and also just like a theater aspect. So I want to shout out my sis Sublime Love again, who allowed me to do this with her at the Oberon Theater, where I literally wrap chains around her. And Key, my girl Key, for allowing me to wrap chains around her at Isabella Gardner as well. So this is Entangled. I think I'm gonna stand up for this. Draped in chains like the finest threads. Who knew the cufflinks I picked out would soon turn into handcuffs? Linked to infidelity, linked to drugs and addiction, my addiction of being cuffed. You single-handedly rearrange the letters and remove vowels from my last name. Bearing your name, I'm the beneficiary. I don't feel privileged here anymore. This off-white dress is now my new uniform. Happy wife, happy life. Who coined that mantra? Probably a man who'd use it as justification for his own abuse. Wife choked up on tears he never tasted. They were salty, stained pillows. Comforter now forms a blanket of insecurity. Vows are like broken promises. Heated champagne glasses are shattered into pieces from the burnt toast. Fairy tales of glass slippers, now bare feet, birthed your son for you to only show him darkness. Ring pattern matches this 360 cycle of bullshit. This emotional roller coaster is breaking down. 10 years. 10 years of matrimony. I was dedicated, now I'm sick. Medicated to deal suicidal thoughts you fed into temptation. Wasted time, but learned lessons. Scared to fall in love again. Whew. So that's Entangled, y'all. Yeah. So relationships be hard, y'all. It's not always easy getting through some of the most like difficult times in your life. And I love love, but sometimes we can be scared of loving someone new. And I'm not gonna say that I'm completely all the way there and all the way healed, because I need to heal and like work on the ways in which I show love and give love. We all have different love languages. And I'm starting to realize that you have to learn the person who you love's love language in order to give them love in the ways that they can receive it. So we all a work in progress. This one's a little bit heavier. I legit just wrote this poem 2 weeks ago. It came from a lot of different things that was going through my mind. The first one was everything that's happening outside. Trans women being murdered, Black women not being believed, Black women being assaulted and just not feeling protected at all. Meg Thee Stallion, that situation had blew up, and people's comments were just terrible. And it just made me think about the ways in which I feel that as victims, people don't see, let me not say victims, because we're not victims, we're survivors. So after hearing everything that was happening to Meg and how she was being dragged, and people were like commenting about her story and whether or not she was really harmed or shot or this or that, I was just like, how many of us survivors can resonate with that when you tell someone your story and they don't believe you, or they side with the abuser or the person who harmed you? And shout out to If You Can Feel It, You Can Speak It, because I was at their open mic 2 weeks ago online, and I was just like listening to we were having this conversation about just, you know, being harmed, especially protecting Black women, and this just came out. So I just want to give y'all a trigger warning. This poem talks about abuse, it talks about sexual trauma, it talks about rape. So I want to give you all out there a couple of minutes to, you know, either turn off your screens, turn down the volume, walk away if you need to. I do not want to trigger anyone, so I definitely want to give you the trigger warning. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. This poem is really, really deep, so like I said, I don't want anybody to feel harmed or re-triggered from this piece. So please feel free to step away if you need to. This piece is called I Ain't Shit. I ain't shit. I ain't shit. My mantra every day. I keep beating myself up, not physically, but mentally, spiritually. Had enough people put hands on me inappropriately. My mom not understanding my lack of self-worth. I keep my truths hidden from her to spare the rod so she can't coddle her child out of the pain. I'm embarrassed. Don't want her to blame herself like I blame myself. I ain't shit. I deserved it. Men would say they love me, but only for my body used and abused, raped. I view sex as power, control over my partner's bodies because I'm fearful they will try to possess mine. Sexualization. Trauma shows up in the middle of sexy time, so you fight through it. Bear down. Close your eyes, try to moan, remembering you were told to keep quiet. Flashbacks flood over me. My partners feel away because I'm in denial. They can't swim in my pussy. It's dry. Foreplay doesn't work. I hate fingers. My uncle loved to use his. Triggered again. I ain't shit. Why is your pussy broken? I don't know. Ask the many who snuck in and attacked it at sunset. I've always slept with the light on. Where was my angels when I called on them? I ain't shit. My ex asked me why the darkness was my playground. Maybe it's the only place I didn't feel safe but embraced, thinking it was all that surrounded me. So I turned into a chameleon to blend in with the walls that haunt me. Traces of all the men who hurt my body. I could never trust anyone. I hurt myself. They call it self-sabotage. At least if I can control the pain, I can heal faster. I ain't shit. Realizing I need to love me, it's difficult. Guilt, Shame, disgusting. Why you so nasty? You don't want me to be a freak? My sexual awareness was forced to be heightened, so I try new acrobatics to see if it feels better to lay down with them instead of being forced. I choose my engagements as a defense mechanism. I ain't shit. I remember there was a time and a place where, as I said earlier, I would never reveal any of these things. But I'm realizing that we share a lot of the same stories and a lot of the same pain. And I think that's important for us to know that we're not alone in this, and that other people are walking around with bruises and scars that we can't see. So that was a really difficult piece for me to write. As you can probably tell, I'm like trying to fight back my emotions right now. Because it reopens it every time. At the same time, I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to read this and feel healed from it. So this next one I have is called Sick. Shout out Eva Davenport and Marianne Murray, two singer-songwriters in the community that I highly respect, and their voices are absolutely incredible. Eva Davenport, I had sent her a demo and was like, I don't know why, but I hear opera in the back of my head. And I sent her a demo, and granted, I'm not a singer. So my demo wasn't beautiful, but she was able to take that and create something so incredible. And she accompanies me on this piece. So I'm really proud of it. It's called Sick. My exes got ill. It's a miracle I found myself free. I mean, immune. I watched these diseases take over their life in so many forms. Somehow I feel guilt. Guilt kept me home all those years, claiming it was one. Castle walls surrounded my relationships. My heart, laid out like a meal, devour it. It'll cure your sickness. Love doesn't cure, it enables. At least what I was serving. Lying in my own blood, no more transfusions, no life support. This system crashed the day it got bugged with these airborne attacks on my soul. Clinging to a warm body, that was their survival. Draining fluids until it's dry, dead, lifeless, mere mortal. I want to be free. Love is a battlefield I keep getting slashed. Band-aids aren't big enough. I want to be there for my loved ones no matter how much they bury me. Resurrect me when the moon is full, energy vampires. I can't mourn myself. They don't either. Saving them privately, me, I make the front page. It's fun. It's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. So that's Sick. I'm so excited for y'all to hear everything we plan on doing with that, because it's not completed, but I'm not scared to show y'all uncompleted work. Like, that's what we gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just gotta show all of it. I think my time is almost up, y'all. So I'm gonna leave y'all with resilience, because it just reminds me of my mama. I was doing a show that spoke to like women empowerment, and I was stressed because I was like, I ain't got no poems that speak to that. All my stuff is so trauma filled and generational and identity based. And it was 4 a.m. I think that's like the artist's like nighttime life anyways, right? Like early mornings. And the house was completely quiet. And I just like envisioned my mom. And I was like, what does she embody to me as being a woman that is resilient? And with that being said, this is what came out. I just want to say thank you again to Lindsay for having me. Thank you so much. I want to thank the BCA and the Lunchtime series for having me on this platform. I'm truly honored. I know I threw a lot of heavy stuff at y'all this afternoon, but it's my truth and I want to share it with y'all, and I really want to hear from what y'all have to say about it and what you think. And I also want to thank Andrew on the staff of BCA, who's absolutely incredible. And I just want to thank Maze Radio, definitely, for just being in the building and just like showering me with love and light and, you know, just being here with me. I love y'all. Check them out. So this is called Resilience. Y'all can follow me at Amanda Shea all day. That's Amanda Shea, like the butter for all my melanated peoples. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Shea all day. You can find me on Facebook, Amanda Shea. Don't try to Google me. And if you do try to Google me, I realized, shout out to Lauren as well from BCA. I had an amazing interview with her. And she was like, when I Googled you, it popped up with all these other Amanda Sheas, and one of them was like in support of the Trump wall, and I was like, oh no, that's problematic. So when you Google me, make sure you put in Amanda Shea, Boston, Mass. I don't know those other Amanda Sheas, but let's just put it like that. Amanda Shea, Boston, Massachusetts. With that being said, I'm grateful, I'm humbled to be able to do this. This is what I love to do. Being a spoken word artist and an educator is really like allowing me to live and walk in my true purpose. So I'm just honored to be able to do this with y'all today. And here we go, resilience. The saying goes, when the tough get going, the going get tough. Must not have met my mother. The scars she bears are invisible. Only those with the third eye could see. You see, her body is strong, agile, but weakened by her experiences. Black women are to only be strong, no complaints, no check-ins, only checkups to ensure the body is intact. Heavy the head who wears the crown, but I see it slipping. Weight on her shoulders, she carries worlds around. We simply orbit in her universe, even when she's lost in her own space. Who will carry her burdens? I mean, her anger, her depression, her bipolar, her anxiety, her wallet. She don't need no man, but society's price tags tells her different stories. Fairy tales unbeknownst to her, for she's a dollar and a dream mentality. Don't worry, I got this swag. I could do bad all by myself, no 2 cents to rub together but rubbed out meals. Who will nourish her soul? Is tired, been beaten, but not by life, by family who cast her away, didn't want to help her rewrite her wrongs. Running away from generational trauma, she's out of breath. Panic attacks her nervous system. Like a baby she birthed, she self-soothes. Resilient. Black women overcome so many obstacles. Child being shot down in the street. Child hanging from a tree. Child being shot in their car. Child suffocating, I can't breathe. Child being killed in prison. Child being killed in front of their grandbabies. Child being killed in the locker room. Child shot on the Harvard's yard. And when asked, how are you? They reply, my mother replies, I'm fine. Thank y'all. That was Resilience. If y'all didn't hear or could relate to anything I said, please take away this. We need to protect Black women. We need to protect all Black lives, because all Black lives matter, period. I want you all to give each other love and light and be the reflection that you want to see in the world. We are all human first. That's my time. I don't have to know you to love you. I just do. And I'm out. Thank you so much. I know y'all got questions and stuff for me, so please let me know how you feel. But I love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me on this afternoon. Thank you again to the BCA, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank y'all.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.